first time in the history of the Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
All right.
Honey, did you remind him that the last time he sent the money, it was not enough to buy all the provisions?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell him.
Are you guys talking about money transfer to buy provisions?
Yes.
But don't you know about Baluwo?
Baluwo? What is Baluwo?
Baluwo is a service that your son can use to send provisions directly to you guys from the shop. And you don't have to worry about the exchange rate.
Tell me how Baluwo works.
It's very simple.
Just log on to baluwo.com and shop or download the app on your phone. You can shop on the website or using the app to buy online basic products for your family and friends. With Baluwo, you decide what your money is spent on. Your money, your choice. Buy online products for your family and friends in the Gambia, Senegal, Nigeria or Mali. Baluwo, better than sending money.
Gamcell data, now even better. Enjoy 20% extra data on all Gamcell data bundles. Buy 20 megabytes and get extra 4 megabytes. Buy 50 megabytes and get extra 10 megabytes. Buy 100 megabytes and get extra 20 megabytes. Any amount of Gamcell data bundle you buy, you will receive 20% extra data for free. Dial *302 data amount hash or go to your Yaiborom menu and choose your data bundle now. Gamcell data, it's fast, lasts longer and very reliable. Gamcell Yaiborom.
Planning to have an uninterrupted electricity and water supply from solar energy in the Gambia and beyond? Worry no more, because Solar Enterprise will provide you with the solutions at reasonable cost. We have experienced personnel who can install and advise you about your electricity and water supply with a warranty period. We have good quality solar products from North America and Europe. We provide services and sell products to individuals, organizations, institutions, private offices, communities, and government. These products are solar panels, batteries, charge controllers, inverters, water pump, water heaters, freezers, submersible pumps, and general solar accessories. Visit our stores at 48 Karaba Avenue and Brusubi Highway, or you can call us on 7657 479 980-8483, 340-9400 or 635-9906.
It's with a deep sense of gratitude and honor for me to today partake in the signing ceremony of the Tourism Development and Resilient Project for the Gambia, being the largest single project financing extended to the Gambia by ICOM. It is also to the tune of $68 million, and this is geared towards addressing the critical role tourism plays in the economy. And the envelope determines the relevance and importance of the tourism sector to the economy. Distinguished ladies, gentlemen, visiting delegates from the World Bank, colleague ministers, the investment financing has an implementation period of 5 years with an objective to diversify the sector and support the climate resilience of the tourism industry. The project will cover improvement on compliance standards and also collect and use data to ensure evidence-based strategic planning, marketing, and branding of tourism for Gambia. Additionally, infrastructure support for diversification by way of protecting and rehabilitating and management of the coastal areas are another key segment of the project. Also, the small and medium-sized enterprise sector will not be left out, and support will be extended to this area, as well as the investment in technology for the sector. Permit me to express my gratitude once again, and I welcome the World Bank team to the country, and also for the trust and confidence that the World Bank has to partake and partner with the Gambia at this critical time. I also would take this opportunity to extend our deepest appreciation to the visiting Managing Director, Axel, for choosing to visit our country with his Vice President. And it's a clear demonstration and testimony of the World Bank firm belief in the country. This is the first time we have a Managing Director and a Vice President of the bank group visiting the Gambia as one team. And we are very pleased that this is happening under the leadership of His Excellency President Adama Barrow, leveraging on the strong democratic credentials of the country. With that, I wish to thank you all for your kind attention.
It's a real pleasure to visit for the first time for me the Gambia. We had just an excellent meeting also with the President of the Republic. And for us, this is important. The signing is just another indication of a very, very strong program we have been able to develop with the Gambia over the last couple of years. Gambia has been, in this month, is celebrating its 55th anniversary of being a member of the World Bank, and clearly we see our relationship in the long term to accompany the Gambia in all its development aspirations. And particularly the last couple of years have been very intense in terms of collaboration, and that also accumulated in the largest ever financial program that was just signed. And I think that is a good demonstration of a couple of things. First of all, of the strong partnership, also the alignment of ideas for strategically advancing all the development aspiration of the country, but also, quite frankly, we need to recognize that the Gambia, as well as the rest of Africa, and for that matter, the rest of the world, is going through a very difficult period. It started clearly with the pandemic, COVID-19, that hit the world badly. It affected also economic prospects 2 years ago of this country, and other countries were even worse hit. But then this has continued. Unfortunately, it continued through the war in Ukraine. that, well, maybe far geographically, it is very close and very closely felt, because unfortunately it's translated in commodity and energy markets that prices have gone very actually through the roof. It is also affected on the fertilizer markets, and that's very important here for the agricultural sector. And unfortunately, that gets translated into inflation, and that is a concern to all. And so this is some of the problems, but also there it didn't stop. There is food security now also where there are challenges. And so on one hand, one is needing to work on the crisis. And I think here the government is doing its very best. And I congratulated certainly the president and his team for all the efforts it's making to make life as manageable as possible under extremely difficult circumstances, particularly because of things that were beyond the control of the government. Secondly, is also to keep the longer term agenda. And I think that is how one actually, again, create jobs and stimulate economic and particularly inclusive growth, and create also the human capital investments are necessary, be it in the health sector, be it also education sector. This is important. And I think this project, for example, is trying to see how can we are looking, apart from that, what one needed to deal with the crisis, with the longer term. Tourism creates enormous job opportunity. It's very important in terms of weight in the GDP. And in that sense, could be a very dynamic growth sector. And therefore, investments are needed, but it also needs to be resilient. It needs also to, require training of people. You need to have a whole ecosystem. And I think this project is really trying to push the envelope to exploit all the possibility this country has in becoming a very attractive tourism place. But these are the type of things we would also, again, come back to, is namely the longer term development agenda. Because that is ultimately what counts for the people, that they see, can we get jobs? Can we actually get all the possibility this country offers? And clearly, crisis is never good for any country, but therefore we need also long-term partner. The World Bank sees itself as a long-term partner in the good times and in the more challenging times. And I think that over the last 2 years, what we have accomplished together has been impressive. We have been able to develop programs of over $200 million. And that means that there is excellent cooperation between the teams of the bank and the team, the Gambia. And I think also in the implementation, we're also being able to advance. And what helps is actually that we have local presence. We have a local office here. And we have, of course, the country director being a half or an hour flight away from Dakar. He's often coming. So I think for us, this is important to have that closeness, but also, therefore, the ability to understand the history, the culture, in short, how the country ticks. And then you can actually have better programs. And I think that is what we are seeing at display, certainly with this program. Let me tell you, we will not stop here. We see a lot of prospect of a continued strong program. We even talked about the next projects that we are together preparing, be it in the administration, be it in the digital. What we would like to be is investors in the future. We have a lot of hope and optimism, not only for the Gambia, but for that matter for Africa. That's the reason we want to have on Thursday a big meeting that is being convened, a summit meeting by President Macky Sall in his capacity as the president of the African Union to launch our next 3-year program for low-income countries. That is IDA 20, it's called. But what is important here is to say of the $93 billion that is available for low-income countries, we expect that $65 billion will be directed towards Africa. And therefore, we would like to be in a strategic discussion with the leadership in Africa on how these resources can be best invested and making a difference to the people. And we think that with these resources, also Gambia will benefit. And we hope that we will have the strongest possible programs in the next couple of years with the government, but also see how we can implement it and make a difference. And hopefully that we jointly can not only leave these crises behind as soon as possible, but that we can embrace with even stronger force the longer term development agenda that we all eagerly would like to do, because that is what matters. But at this stage, we have to do both. We need to do crisis management as well as not losing sight of the longer term agenda. And therefore, let me just finish congratulating the government of a wonderful job done in this project. And we look very much eager to the implementation. The first step is taken with the signature. Now the hard work will come. But I'm sure that we will get some wonderful results. Thank you very much.
The pandemic really decimated the tourism industry. And tourism contributes 20% of our GDP and generates more than 100 to 200,000 jobs in the country, directly and indirectly. So with the advent of the pandemic, there was a cessation of business, and most of the employment in the tourism sector affect the youth category. The project is very aware of that, and the project is multifaceted, not only to address the revitalization of the industry. And when we mean revitalization of the industry, it's a cross-cutting theme. It will create jobs, it will build resilience, it will build infrastructure, it will market the Gambia, it will make Gambia an attractive investment destination, all of which will culminate in addressing the viability of the sector. And when the sector thrives, there are so many spin-offs that will help create the necessary jobs that have been lost. Whilst it will be difficult at this stage to put your finger on how many jobs will be created, but we are sure with the design of the project will address most of the vulnerable segments that were adversely affected, and the resultant effect will be an increase in the level of youth unemployment in particular. And on this note, it is worth noting, as has been rightly mentioned, that what we need as a country is to create jobs. That is why the government last year approved a national employment policy for the period 2022 to 2025 that will be generating is expected to generate 150,000 jobs over the next 5 years. And the theme of that is not only 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 jobs, but also to create entrepreneurship, to build venture capital, to encourage youths to go into self-employment, support the small, medium-sized enterprises, so that the ecosystem of the economy will be resilient, and with that will come the creation of jobs. This government is on a daily basis coming up with creative ways to address employment. As we know, we are very aware of the demographic dividend that we have, and that the youths comprise more than 50% of the population. And as such, their plight, particularly those in the vulnerable sector of tourism, is well noted, and a large segment of the project intervention areas will was addressing that. Thank you.
Was to review the country program, but also the partnership between the World Bank and the Gambia. And as I said in my introductory remarks, that the last couple of years have been very strong. And that is reflected in a very strong program of financial support. Last 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, it's in excess of $500 million of engagement, and the 68 million is just the last example of this. That shows, given that these resources are also allocated on a performance-based basis, means that good progress was being made. And I think that is the encouraging part. For us, it is very important in the context of our cooperation with the membership that we don't see only the big countries. There are some really big countries in the world, but also the smaller countries, and they deserve all the attention that they need. And we have a small states forum. My colleague Usman Diaga, the vice president, he makes often the point to go to the small countries, not because this is something that we need to. It is basically, it's an integral part of the Africa strategy, and for that matter, integral strategy of the World Bank strategy worldwide, whether you are in the Pacific or the Caribbean or here. And I think that is the potential we have. What is also the good news is that within this fund of IDA 20, there are more resources, or relatively more resources for small states available. And I think that is also in recognition of the special challenges small states have. What we see is clearly part in the Gambia agenda, but we see this as a general one. One of the big topics I expect, for example, on Thursday to be discussed is energy access. Big topic still in many countries in Africa. So that is where we also are engaged, also in the Gambia. We would see that is something we would like to continue to be engaged. Digital agenda, huge topic for the African Union. And what I'm seeing is in most countries there is an incredible interest for it. There are many initiatives and interest also for financial support from the bank. So we are more than happy to respond on this. And what we also see is clearly, again, the human capital agenda. That can be in health, it can be in education, it can be also on the jobs agenda. These are very, very important topics that are continue to be there. And the final thing is really also the results of climate change in the world and in Africa. In Africa, the tragedy is that Africa is really not responsible for all the emissions. It is, I think, if I'm not, only 2% of the worldwide emissions come from Africa. The tragedy is that the continent is disproportionately affected by climate change. Quite an unfair situation, and that requires also investment, particularly in the adaptation agenda. And I think here I'm pleased to say that we have been scaling up in general in the bank our climate engagement in worldwide. The last year were $26 billion in climate financing, and half was in adaptation. That is in the programs we managed in Africa, very strong an adaptation agenda, and I expect that will continue. So there is plenty to do. What makes us feel good is, first of all, to me, is the extremely warm welcome by the country, by the minister yesterday and night already. We had a wonderful discussion to come to the Gambia, but also to see really that there is a lot of potential in the country, and we would like to be as supportive as possible.
It's a 5-year project, and definitely all the milestones are there to ensure that all the elements, components of the project will be executed on time and will be completed within 5 years. Actually, we have as a country a very good performance track record, as has been alluded to by Axel. The World Bank operates a performance-based allocation system. That means the more you implement, the more they will allocate to you. The fact that the bank is coming back with larger envelopes is a testimony to the strong project implementation record of the country. And that's why today we have such a high-profile visit to the country. With that track record, all elements of the government will be there to ensure that this project is implemented on time. And it is needed yesterday, so no time will be wasted, because whenever we develop and implement a project, the project will go towards addressing the social needs of the country. And the needs are strong. Therefore, we will not rest on our laurels, but to ensure that the project is implemented. In fact, we'll be happy if we can expedite it before 5 years so that we can ask for more.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, takaful fund, management of zakat, management of awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Assalamualaikum. Askani adina, askani Gambia, askani diaspora. Xam nga bu ma nee askani Gambia adina sax wax naa yëpp ba pare nan lañ rek leen doon toggal hankañ ñor na waaw the plus xam ngeen ne yàgg ngeen a dégg the plus in skincare plus is already here finally egsi na hankañ suñ plus bi egsi na moo nekk ni ñu ngi lañ ko amal fii ci diggi Manjai highway Manjai Kotu highway fa lañ ibbi di plus mooy lan mooy the extras in skincare plus suñ cuuraay gerte yi suñ araw yi suñ mbaxal yi suñ jën yi suñ suulaale yi suñ nokkas yi hankañ indil lañ leen ko fii ci diggi Manjai ne ko fii comme ni ma ko doy waxee rek ne ko fii para caach hankañ waa diaspora bi xam ngeen ne ci noppal ren rek lañ nekk boo tukki ñëw Gambia fii you can party all that you want we got you waaw boo toogee ba dernier moment pare pour dem daagul rek ñëw di plus bu ko defee ñu packagé li nga bëgg yëpp muy araw muy cuuraay gerte muy suñ mbaxali Saalum boobee suñ kereng kiisoo bi yooyu noonu yëpp amal nañ leen ko fii waa Gambia tamit nag xam nga rek the working women we want to make life easy for you our mbaxal is pre-made baxal sa maalo rek even bachelor si sax boo amee rek sa rice cooker baxal sa maalo rek teg sa mbaxal rek axankañ mbaxali Saalum laa wax de axankañ Charles fa lay waxee bu loolu passé amal nañ leen nag suñ own freezing system fu mu nekk nii suñ freezer bee nekk nii dañ laa jaay ba pare bu la neexee ñu freezer la axankañ paquetel la emuñ foofu rek sax boo bëggee ñu wéyal la yëpp yóbbul la ko ba airport waaye yéen lii ngeen ne lan xanaa lan comme ni ma ko dee waxee rek xanaa neex waaw suma partenaires yi rek ñoo nekk ni ki mooy Aïda boo lañ fi ñëwee boo lañ ma fi fekkutee ndegam manque di jaabante rek mun ngeen fee fekk Aida mbaate mun ngeen fee fekk rakki Aida kañ ki mooy caat moo ngi nii waaw suñ plus gaa ngi nii fii nii waaw suñ fii mooy area bi nga xamante ni fa la ñoo defaree package suñ araw yeeg suñ all those kind of stuff moo nekk ni ñu ngi ci préparation nag pare nguñ we not quite ready but we almost there loolu bu passé we have another work area fii na am meat cutting unit fish and meat cutting unit nga xam ne boo indi sa jën bugg ñu dogal la ko in lions nice pieces machine boobu dina nekkee fii nga xam ne nañ leen bugg di dogal ñaari raxasookaay nag lañ am this is one work area and that one is another work area parce que comme ni ngeen ko mus di xamee rek lépp loo xam ne luy dugg ci biir la dama make sure ne defar naa ko ci anam bu aw yoon nag parce que comme niñ ko lay waxee rek biir nag dafa lëndëm nag lu faa war a dugga war nañoo xam exactly naka la fa taajoo waaw suñ freezing unit bi nag neen xaaral nag ma boole si sax lan macha allah bam na ñetti yoon 2 hours ago rek lañ ñu indil ay waas believe it or not the wasis are frozen solid already waaw dugal nañ ko ci biir du ma ko génnee sax di ci xam nga taxal suma loxo yeeg yooyu noonu waaye it on point freezes in no time waaw xankañ fii mooy D plus so bu ca kanamee dinañ dem ci beneen doom bu ees di waaw dama wasin ay siix waaw twin businesses fii mooy the plus so ci kanam tuuti dinañ dem to the next one bu ko defee ñu wax lañ boobu tamit mooy ban ak naka la fa taajoo
Agadadi.
Mbijano aganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. Korsan. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. Agadadi.
Mbijano bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbare.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola sota Gambia jam.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol dil fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ma fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
barka. Ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e binaji.
Yalo bu kanila ko la barka ba.
Yalo ndel ciosano lo.
Barka.